most likely you tried at least once a Call of Duty game. And if you did play a Call of Duty game, then again, most likely you probably tried the zombie mode. I started playing Call of Duty Zombies when I was a literal child, and since then I played every single Call of Duty game ever made. From World at War to Black Ops on the Nintendo DS to Vanguard.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
And with the release of Modern Warfare 3 Zombies around the corner, I think it's the perfect time to take a trip down memory lane and revisit every Call of Duty zombie map ever made and, rank them. So without further ado, World at War is the first CoD game to feature a zombie mode. Being the first title to ever include zombies obviously makes it a very important game, but also makes it a very bare-bones experience. What I mean by that is that by today's standards, some maps can be a bit underwhelming. But for me, it's their simplicity mixed with the more horror-oriented theme that makes these maps special. So don't be surprised if some of them are rated way fucking higher than they should. It's just because I really like that type of, zombie experience. Mw3 is one of my favorite maps, period. Being the first zombie map ever also makes it the most bare-bones map ever made, which is, in part, why I love it so much. Do you like perks? Do you like Pack-a-Punch? Well, none of it is present in Mw3. It's just you, the mystery box, and the horde of Nazi zombies ready to eat you alive. Because the map is so small and claustrophobic, every movement needs to be calculated. For example, if you clear the debris in the stairs, it will clear the path, so you can go upstairs, but it will also prevent you from camping downstairs. Why? Because now the horde can attack you from the path you just cleared. That makes it one of the hardest map ever made, when you also take into account the fact that you got no perk, Pack-a-Punch, or wonder weapons. For me, Mw3 is a solid A tier map. It's one of the most replayable map because it's so unique and bare bones. Really man, I just fucking love it. Verrückt is the spookiest Call of Duty Zombies map ever made.
Hot digging and dump. This place is magnificent. Embarrassment of riches, as they say.
If, like me, you played Verrückt as a child, then it's probably your first taste of good old PTSD. This map is flat out cursed. Everything from the sound effects to the overall ambience is expertly crafted to make you shit your pants. Being one of the first map ever made, there's no dog rounds to give you max ammos or anything, and although it's the first map to include perks, I gotta say man, it doesn't make the map any easier. Matter of fact, Verrückt is, in my opinion, the hardest map ever made. Overall, if you like suffering, Verrückt is a great map. A tier. In my opinion, Shinonuma is kind of a mid-map.
The fuck you say to me, you little shit?
Yeah, I know, it's probably not the most base opinion ever, but I don't doubt the importance of the map. It's the first map to introduce the main characters, all of them are awesome, and also they are all fully voiced. But it's also the first map to introduce Hellhounds, and in my opinion, they were way too overpowered and unbalanced, which just made them extremely frustrating to fight. It was just not that fun of a map, to be honest. The location wasn't that interesting either, walking around in a swamp with fog everywhere isn't exactly my definition of fun, especially when dark green and gray is the only color palette you see everywhere you go. In summary, kind of a mid-map, not too much to see, not a lot to do. Honestly, I'm feeling a light C on that one. Transition. Darius is probably in my top 5 favorite maps ever list, so naturally it's an automatic S tier. It's the first map to include the Pack-a-Punch, It's the first map to include an Easter egg quest. It's also the first map to introduce teleporters. And finally, it's the second map to include the Wunderwaffe. The only complaint I have with this map is that if you play with friends, you just need your perks, the Wunderwaffe and the ray gun, and you become pretty much untouchable for 30 rounds. It's by far the easiest map in World at War, but honestly I just don't care because it's also by far the best map and the most replayable one also. And yeah, I'd give World at War Zombies an A tier. It's great, it's simple, it's a bit bare bones, but it's great, and it's a great start for the franchise. Black Ops is one of those games that does pretty much everything right. The multiplayer is great, the campaign is one of the greatest in CoD history, and the zombies mode is basically World at War but better. When I think of my favorite Call of Duty games, Black Ops 1 is always at the top of the list. It's easily in the top 3 best CoDs ever made in my opinion. Black Ops 1 introduced a lot of classic maps that, you know, people still like to play to this day, almost like 13 years after launch. And speaking of zombies map, Kino der Toten is one of the best noob maps ever made. The map is really easy because there's a lot of open areas where you can train zombies, and the map is relatively small, so every perk machine and every mystery box is close to you at all times. Obviously, it also doesn't help that you can get the best like wonder weapon of all time in the mystery box. Overall, the only way you can die in this map is if it's like round 40 and the zombies are borderline immortal, or if you get trapped in a juggernaut spot. Even though it's by far the easiest map in the game, it's a necessary map because pretty much every single map that came afterwards were really hard. Plus, it's the go-to map if you want to play with a homie who's not like too good at the game. So yeah, I think it's necessary that this map is so easy. I got a lot of good memories playing Kino, and it will forever be the best casual map ever made in my opinion. So I'm gonna give it a respectable A tier. So this is where my first hot take of the video comes into play. I fucking hate this map.
Oh my god, young man, kill yourself!
Way too frustrating for no reason. The scientist is an unnecessary pain in the ass. Every single spot in the map can get you stuck, and instead of making another, iconic Easter egg song, the devs just said fuck it and they put an Eminem song.
That's an awfully hot coffee pot. Should I drop it on Donald Trump? Probably not.
Overall, the only good thing about this map is that it's in the fucking Pentagon, which is, I'm not gonna argue it's awesome. And you can play as John F. Kennedy, which is, once again, awesome. Overall, C tier. Remember when I said Kino der Toten was the easiest map in the game? Well, I kind of forgot about Ascension. Ascension does a lot of things well. It's one of the coolest locations in Black Ops 1. The little Easter egg that lets you blow up the rocket is awesome, to be honest.
Warning, launch in progress.
The little demon goes
And the new gadgets are all fun to use. And although the monkeys can be a bit frustrating sometimes, I think it's a nice way to spice up the gameplay and kind of not make you feel like you're in control since they steal your perks. So you're never truly in control since you always have like the fear of losing your perks. But for some fucking reason, Treyarch decided to give us the most overpowered training spot ever. Just walk around the circle and boom, you're almost unkillable for the next 30 rounds. In conclusion, way too easy. Everything else about this map is awesome. A tier. In my opinion, Shangri-La is really underrated. It's set in a jungle somewhere in Asia, and it's a beautiful map for the time. It's also a really hard map with tight corridors and you know, traps everywhere. There's new enemy types, the napalm zombies and the shrieker zombies. There's an extremely complex Easter egg that I never completed because I'm a coward. Overall, beautiful location, good difficulty. The Easter egg is really hard. A tier. What can I say about Moon besides it's fucking awesome? You're on the moon, you blow up the earth. S tier, man. All in all, I'll say Call of Duty Black Ops deserves about an A tier.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
What is left to say about Black Ops 2, the MVP, the GOAT? I feel like everything has been already said like 1,000 times before, and arguably it's the best Call of Duty game of all time. It's one of the best multiplayer FPS games ever made, that's for sure, and in my opinion it's also the best Call of Duty Zombies game. But for the zombie side of things, before any DLC was released, it was really poorly received by the community when it launched, and that's all thanks to
You're disgusting. I'm gonna kill you.
There isn't a lot to say about Transit besides Treyarch tried to do something and it didn't work. They tried to make a big ass map, but you couldn't explore it. That's right, if you tried to travel the map on foot, you would get absolutely fucked by little annoying monsters. Plus there's fog everywhere, so forget the notion of fun because it's non-existent. Oh, and also they decided to make the Pack-a-Punch machine buildable, and it goes without saying, it's a fucking pain in the ass to do. The only good thing to come from Transit is that they separated all the areas into smaller maps, and Town is a really good little casual map. All in all, not an atrocious map, but definitely not good either. D tier. Nuketown Zombies is probably like the most forgettable map in BO2, but also probably the most underrated map. The reason I like this map a lot is that it's very like RNG based, which makes it very replayable. The perks will drop randomly from the sky, which means that you can either get like Juggernaut round 4 or round 20, and it's the same thing for every perk and also for a Pack-a-Punch machine. It's also a pretty spooky map with like every zombie has an hazmat suit or they're like burnt to a crisp. Like it's pretty spooky, and the atmosphere too is very chilling. You know, there's radiation particles everywhere, and there's a big ass nuclear explosion overlooking the map, which constantly reminds you that you are fucked. To further fuel that uneasy feeling, the map is really small and claustrophobic. You always feel like you're kind of trapped inside it. Again, it's another really good casual map to play when you don't like want to commit to anything and you just want to smoke zombies basically. I think A tier is appropriate for this map. And now get ready for the most outrageously great map streak in Call of Duty history. Mob of the Dead has the best zombies main quest ever made. The characters are really good, they're all new. Fighting zombies in Alcatraz honestly makes my brain happy. It's really spooky too. It's an obvious S tier, obviously. Here's the thing about Buried. Leroy is wifey material, he's fucking awesome. The soundtrack is really good.
Yo! Ah!
killing zombies, like cowboy zombies in general, is hype, so it gets a point just for that. And of course the ray gun Mark II was invented in the raid, so again, very obvious S tier. Ah man, good old Origins. It's my favorite zombies map ever. It has the best wonder weapons ever. I'm talking about the staffs. Most fun gameplay loop in my opinion too, and the panzers are really scary, like they almost fucking give me PTSD when I was a kid. Most beautiful location also in my opinion. Easy S tier, come on now. Whether you think Black Ops 2 Zombies is the best zombies game or not, I think it's obvious that BO2 deserves the S tier title. Map ratings are always subjective, but I think there's some objectivity in saying that, you know, Black Ops 2 Zombies deserve the highest rating possible. Honestly, the only truly bad map in Black Ops 2 is Transit. Besides that, every single map is amazing. Even Die Rise is considered by many to be a great map, which I don't exactly agree with personally. I'd say it's like a C tier map or something, but it just goes to show how great the game is. In conclusion, with the way the CoD franchise is going, I think Black Ops 2 is forever going to be the greatest CoD Zombies experience for me, and I think for many. And it's obviously deserving the S tier rank.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
The best way to explain how I feel about this game is by quoting the great Winston Churchill.
This is me to tell cousin.
I own every single DLC, I played each map a couple times, but still everything about these maps feel like a blur in my mind. And it's funny because everything else about the game I remember vividly. The campaign, the multiplayer I remember well, but for some odd reason when I think of the zombie mode, it's like it never existed. In other words, what I'm trying to say is that it was extremely forgettable, or even, dare I say, really fucking mid. And for that reason, I can't in good conscience rank each map one by one, because it would be like disingenuous to do so. So instead, I'm just going to rate the Exo Zombies experience as a whole. I think it's mid, really mid, really mid, but also not atrocious either. C tier. When it comes to the best CoD Zombies experience, the top picks are either Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, or if you're mentally challenged. Needless to say, since Black Ops 3 is a lot of people's favorite game, it would be smart to not start off with a hot take that could. I don't really like Shadows of Evil. I almost never played it because I thought it was boring. I know for a lot of people Shadows of Evil is their favorite map, and that's why I feel really fucking dumb for not liking it. I just don't get it, to be honest, and that's why I feel like my opinion on the map is somewhat useless. So to avoid getting murdered in my sleep, I think the smart thing to do is to simply avoid ranking the map. When Treyarch saw that Origin was a very profitable and well-received DLC, the only logical thing to do was to make a sequel to Origins. And it's basically what they did with There Is and Drac. Although I still prefer Origins, There Is and Drac is far from being an unworthy successor. Matter of fact, some people consider it the superior map. Origin was special because it had magic staffs, and There Is and Drac has their own version of that. But instead of staff, the map's upgradable weapon is a bow. The bows are really fun to use. There's 4 types of elemental bows available, and they all got their own special ability. My personal favorite is the Wolf Spirit bow, only because it's by far the most badass bow. I mean, for fuck's sake, every time you shoot an arrow a wolf will come out to disintegrate zombies. It's basically the same thing as the Enzo ultimate in Overwatch, but you kill hordes of zombies instead of killing Rule 34 Mercehorn addicts. Although I keep glazing Origins, one thing I can admit is that the giant robots could be very annoying sometimes, so I'm kind of glad they didn't come back this time in Darius and Drag. Overall, Darius and Drag did a couple of things better than Origins. For example, they nerfed the Panzer Solidats, which was definitely a good decision. They also removed the annoying motherfuckers that keep, shutting the power down. And when I look back at it, they were kind of useless too, so, I'm kind of glad they're gone. And with that being said, I think it's obvious that I can give this map like anything else than S tier. And I'm still going to put it under Origins because I think the location and the atmosphere of Origins is not even in the same league as it's kind of reverse. I think that Darius and Drag is not in the same league as Origin atmosphere wise, but yeah, still obvious S tier. Black Ops 3 is still to this day one of the best looking CoD games in my opinion, so needless to say I was really happy when Treyarch announced that they would be remastering 8 classic Zombies map. Zombies Chronicle is everything you expect from a remastered map pack. It doesn't do anything fancy, nor does it need to. The problem is that since bubblegums are everywhere in Black Ops 3, they are also present in the remastered maps, so it makes them like 2 times easier, and I'm talking about each and every one of them. So in other words, every single map that were even remotely easy are now stupidly easy, and you don't need to be a genius in game design to realize no difficulty equals no fun. So that makes maps like Kino Der Tod or Ascension really a snooze fest, to be honest. Obviously the easy fix is just to not use Gobblegum, but Gobblegums are always present in the game. You will come across a machine like once every 10 seconds, so I think it's easier said than done. And another problem is that Black Ops 3 Zombies aesthetic is not at all horror focused, and the engine makes every color more vibrant, which isn't a bad thing by itself obviously, but that's until you start playing World at War maps, which were designed to be dark and gritty but now look vibrant and colorful, which is, makes them lose their initial charm in my opinion. But to be 100% honest, it's sad to say, but no one really bought Zombie Chronicles for the World at War maps anyway. So at the end of the day, it's not that, big of a deal. So with that said, even though I really like Zombie Chronicles, I can't really rate it S tier. So I think A tier is a fair rating. Infinite Warfare is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated Call of Duty games. It's not great by any means, but when compared to the latest CoD games, it's really not half bad. I'd even go as far as to say it's better than pretty much every CoD game released in the last few years. The multiplayer was kind of mid, but the campaign was really good, and the zombie mode, well, let's talk about the zombie mode. I apologize to all the Infinite Warfare Zombies enjoyers, but I only played Zombies in Spaceland, so I skipped on every DLC maps, and I obviously won't be reviewing them. With that said, Zombies in Spaceland is really good, and I think it's the best non-Treyarch Zombies map ever made, and the reason is simple: it's really fucking fun. The soundtrack is a banger. The overall vibe of the map is really nice. There's something about fighting zombies in an 80s theme park that makes my monkey brain happy. And it's hard for me to say more things about this map since it's been so long since I played it, which is a shame because I remember really liking it. So I'm going to be rating the map solely on a gut feeling. And yeah, I'm feeling nothing less than a A tier on that one. It's surprisingly good, and now I kind of want to download Infinite Warfare again and try all of the DLC I missed. And I just want to say I won't be reviewing World War II Zombies because I played like 5 minutes of it, so Instead, the next game is going to be... When I look back at it, Black Ops 4 really wasn't that bad of a game. I think the biggest reason why people hated this game is franchise fatigue, because I honestly think that the gameplay was like really solid. And I don't think I ever saw a CoD game, give you so much bang for your buck. BO3 campaign was bad, so they traded the campaign for a battle royale mode in BO4, which I think it was ultimately the right move. I still think to this day that Blackout was better than Warzone, although I really like Verdansk before everything went to shit. The multiplayer was universally hated because it contained loot boxes and some guns were extremely OP, like the Stingray for example, but I 100% prefer loot boxes over the current monetization method, my bad, because it's simple. I'm a fucking gambling addict, so I really don't mind loot boxes. Where shit hits the fan is with the zombie mode. They made zombies extremely casual friendly, which left every CoD veteran feeding for some sort of challenge, and I believe the Black Ops 4 zombies hate all started with... If I were to strictly judge Voyage of Despair as a map and only a map, then I would say it's pretty good. I mean, who wouldn't like fighting zombies on the Titanic? But the problem is that the map was made in Black Ops 4, so all the bullshit overpowered ultimate abilities and shit, the new perk system, the new custom starting weapon, and the disgustingly easy difficulty leave a bad taste in my mouth. The thing is that it's not even the map's fault, it's just a victim to the new garbage zombie mechanics. Because if the map released in Black Ops 3 instead, it would have been a really good casual map. But because it introduced Black Ops 4 mechanics and it wasn't, made to support them, I can give it more than a B tier, to be honest, which is sad because in other condition, this might have been an A map, but it is what it is, I guess. The thing that makes 9 a way better map than Voyage of Despair is because it feels like it was made to support all the new mechanics. It's still an easy map, but at least it took advantage of the fact that the player is essentially a god. There's mini bosses every few rounds. If you want to unlock the Pack-a-Punch, you need to defeat 4 bosses, and your overpoweredness makes sense because you're a mighty gladiator. This map makes you feel like an absolute badass, and even though I will always like the OG CoD formula better, it still feels like a breath of fresh air, even to this day. Really, honestly, I'm gonna be 100% honest right now, I fucking love this map. Honestly, A tier. I didn't play any of the DLC map for Black Ops 4 because I was broke as shit when the game released, but the general consensus from the zombie YouTubers is that every single map was pretty good, so I might need to give it a try soon, especially since the last few years of zombies have been nothing but trash, with Cold War and Vanguard casually ruining 10 years old legacy with the most bland zombies experience imaginable. So yeah, I'm not too hyped to talk about Cold War next, but I guess it's too late to back down now, so... Oh man, Cold War, I was so hyped for this game when it got announced because the trailer had big Black Ops 1 vibes with the MK Ultra CIA shit, and honestly, like, Cold War might have had one of the best teaser trailer for a CoD game, to be honest. But the whole development process for this game was rushed, and so, oh, what a surprise, the game felt incomplete and rushed. Although I think the campaign was pretty good, I honestly think that it was overrated because sometimes the cutscene didn't even work and the pacing was all over the place. I don't even want to talk about the multiplayer since it was mid as fuck, but I will say that I enjoyed it more than Modern Warfare 2019, but I guess that's not saying much since the game was completely awful. And since the game was developed by Treyarch, that means we got a zombie mode. And was the zombie mode good, you might ask? Well, let's talk about it. My first thoughts on Die Machine were simple. My thoughts were, what the actual fuck is happening? When I saw health bars on enemies and objective for the first time, I thought for a second I was playing a Ubisoft game instead of Call of Duty Zombies. This paired with the fact that you start round 1 with an AR and that you have like an ultimate ability was the biggest slap in the face I ever received from a video game. A franchise completely forgetting their roots is sadly kind of common nowadays, but it hit especially hard with Cold War since I fucking love Treyarch. And also I didn't expect them to not only make the same mistake twice, but to also double down on everything we hated in Black Ops 4. It just felt like one of my favorite game makers decided to become a prostitute and, you know, sell his soul to conquer the casual crowd. And the reason it feels that way, it's because it's the case. So, you know, and Die Machine as a map isn't that great either. So it's basically a remake of Nacht der Untoten, but it's just so fucking obvious that this decision was only made to cut development time and costs, and the fact that our beloved characters were replaced by blend operators, you know, to make money off microtransactions, makes me want to destroy my fucking monitor, to be honest. It's a fucking C-tier map at best, and the actual mechanics of the game deserve nothing more than a D tier. And for all the other maps made for Cold War zombies, honestly, it doesn't even deserve to be talked about. They were just reskins of campaign location, except for, when I think about it, except for Firebase Z, and you know, what a coincidence, it's by far the best map. You know, the only map that they actually put effort into is the best map, and since Firebase Z is a lot better than the other map, I'd say it's like a B tier map, but that's just an exception. The remaining maps are all C tier at best, and I absolutely hated the Outbreak mode, so D tier for that piece of shit. At the end of the day though, a zombie mode is a zombie mode, and I still had some fun with the game here and there, but it's just because the past entries were so exceptionally good that Cold War looks mediocre in comparison. I might have been too harsh on the game if I'm being honest, but like I said before, this game was such a slap in the face for me that I might be biased at this point, but this game is a masterpiece compared to... Do I really need to talk about Vanguard and why it's hot garbage? I mean, man, the multiplayer had some qualities here and there, but everything about the zombie mode was nothing short of atrocious. And I would rather play CoD Zombies on the Nintendo DS, and I'm not even saying this for like comedic purposes or anything, like I'm 100% honest. Fuck this game, fuck everything this game represents, everything this game tried, it failed, and every idea they took from older titles, they somehow made it worse than it was before. I hate everything about this nauseating game, F tier, no question. It's after reviewing every single CoD game that I realized how sharp of a dip this franchise took. Like when I was talking about Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, I had fun making the video, like I liked editing it and everything, but as soon as I started talking about the recent CoD titles, it's like it automatically drained my motivation because of how bad they are. But yeah, after like 3 weeks of work, I wasn't sure if I was going to post this video, to be honest. But I mean, oh well, if you're saying this at this moment, that's because I posted it. So yeah, man, if you're still watching at this point of the video, just know you're an absolute Chad, and I appreciate you for giving me the privilege of your time. Just a side note, I make beats on Fiverr, and also I make beats on a second YouTube channel, so if you're interested, please check that out. But honestly, if you just want to support my channel, just subscribe or like, that's plenty. I just need like that extra boost so YouTube recommends my bullshit to other people. And also, I want to see what percentage of people commenting made it until the end, so if you're still watching at this point of the video, just comment something stupid like gabagool or something. And yeah boys, thanks again for sticking till the end, and that's it for today. I'm out.